Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I'm going to bring you a video talking about my Booktube SFF Awards Shortlist TBR. Wow, that's a mouthful. I personally won't be reading all of the books. I know there's a ton of people out there. I saw like all these cool things on Twitter of people putting together their reading schedule. I just know that I won't be able to get to all the books, so I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. There's a ton of books that I want to read outside of the Booktube SFF shortlist. So I decided to just like pick and choose some of the books that are in the categories that sounded the most appealing to me and that I wanted to read and take part in the Booktube SFF Awards, and then of course tune into the live show whenever they post it in June. The one category that I'm really excited for is the best debut novel, because since they're debut novels, it's not like I have to catch up on a gigantic series of books before I even get to it. Let's talk about the best middle grade category. So this is Whichwood, written by Tahareh Mafi. You might remember seeing this when I hauled it back in December because it was basically a cover buy for me. I just knew that I wanted to read this book because the cover was so pretty. And then it turns out it was nominated for the shortlist. I do have Furthermore on my March TBR, so I hope to get to this one pretty shortly after that, so that way I can be caught up. So this is a story about a young girl who lives in the village. Her role in the village is she washes and prepares the bodies of the dead. It just sounded like a really interesting read, especially for middle grade. I'll be really interested to see how this loops together with Furthermore. So this is Whichwood, written by Tahareh Mafi. And then the other book that I want to read in the middle grade category, actually I want to read all of the books in the middle grade category, but the ones that I think that I'll get to before the live show, the next one is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. That one's written by Jessica Townsend. That one I decided I wanted to pick it up because so many people have talked about it. They said really positive things. It's just a really fun magical adventure. The main girl, she has like a lot of bad luck, or she represents a lot of bad luck, and then she's taken into the world of Nevermore. That's pretty much all I know about it. This pick is from the Best YA category. Again, I don't think I'll be able to get to all of the picks. The one that I have on my shelves currently, so I don't have to go out and buy the book, this is Windwitch, written by Susan Dennard. This is book number 2 in the Witchland series, the first book being Truthwitch. I actually have Truthwitch on my March TBR, so that way I can get to this one soon. Lots of different kinds of witches: truth witches, thread witches, wind witches, and I think Sight Witch is her latest little novella. It takes place in this whole world, the Witchlands. So this is Windwitch, written by Susan Dennard. A book that is in the best science fiction category. I also have been interested in reading this. I just don't have a copy of it, but that is The Collapsing Empire, written by John Scalzi. It's a first novel in a new space opera written by John Scalzi, so that's good that I don't have to catch up on other books before I get to this one. I like when things in space are in jeopardy and in peril, because you're in space and you can't survive without things working in the correct way. As you may have guessed, the bulk of the books that I want to read for the Booktube SFF Awards are all fantasy. So the one that I don't have is in the best fantasy category. It is Red Sister, written by Mark Lawrence. Now, I actually haven't read any Mark Lawrence books, so pretty much all I needed to know about this book is that it's a convent of like girl killers. I love, you know, primary female cast of characters that are done right, so I hope that this one will be too. So right here, this is The Bear and the Nightingale, written by Katherine Arden. I just posted this in my February haul. This one was nominated in both Best Debut and Best Fantasy category. This takes place in the Russian wilderness, and I've had this book on my radar for a long time. I really hope to get to this one soon. I had been like putting off doing anything about it. I knew I wanted to read it, but until it was nominated for the book awards, I was like, okay, you should really get to this one now. So this is The Bear and the Nightingale, written by Katherine Arden. This right here, this is The City of Brass, written by S.A. Chakraborty. I've had this in a couple of my videos so far. Most recently, it was in my March TBR, so I do plan on getting to this one very soon. I'm in the mood for something different from all the fantasy that I've been reading recently. This is a fantasy novel that takes place in 18th century Cairo, and the main character does go into the world of the jinn. So I'm just interested in reading about a completely different magic system, a completely different fantastical world set in Cairo, and I'm ready for this. I'm finally ready for The City of Brass, and I'm super excited. This one was nominated for the Best Debut category. And lastly, this one was also in my March TBR. This is Kings of the Wyld, written by Nicholas Eames. This was also in the Best Debut category. And again, this is about a band of mercenaries who are old and washed up from their heyday, and one of their daughters goes missing and they have to get the band back together. It just sounds like this one's going to be a really fun, fast-paced, really action-packed fantasy. And I'm also in the mood for something that's going to be really quick to get through. I'd been slogging through some bigger epic fantasies. Not that I didn't enjoy them, but they were really time consuming. And I really want something that's not going to be that time consuming at this stage in my reading journey for this year. So this is Kings of the Wyld, written by Nicholas Eames. These are the books that are nominated for several different categories in the Booktube SFF Awards, and these are the books that I plan to read for that. Let me know in the comment section below the books that you want to read for the Booktube SFF shortlist, and have you already started reading any of those books? But if you've read any of these, let me know which ones you liked, let me know what you thought. You can also find me on my social media if you want to have conversations on there. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. It's at What Cass Read. It's the same as this channel. And of course, my Goodreads account will always be linked down below if you want to be my friend and actually see what I'm rating these books before we get to, you know, the shortlist awards towards the middle of the summer, I think, in June. You know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.